So a couple of things. One, happy anniversary, Barrett Kohler. Two, what an incredible panel. And three, can we all just take 2 breaths? And just like inhale, exhale twice. Is that okay? Is that 1 breath? And 1 more? What a world we live in, huh? So I'm just going to tell a story. We all have stories. There's plenty of stories, and I'm just representing all of us and just telling one story. So thoughts, books, a world that works for everyone. For me, it starts with an achievable vision, It's like planting a seed. It's like planting a concept. It's tapping into the imagination. It's tapping a reality that is possible. Tapping a reality that is possible. A seed is be big. The title of the book Judith Katz and I wrote. Be big. People stop me in airports and places and say, what is that? I said, it's you being fully empowered, being the person you want to be. Oh, I want that. Listening as an ally, another one of the concepts in our next book. Or a participant saying, why wouldn't I want to be included? Why wouldn't somebody want to be included in my organization, said a senior leader of an organization? Judith Katz, my business partner and co-author, and I are learning again and again and again about the world and people through our workshops that we're doing, through the people reading our book. And although there are cultural differences around the world, people are people. And we have a lot more in common, a lot more similarities than our differences. We let our differences get in the way, but whether we're in the US or England or the Netherlands or Mexico, Singapore, India, or anywhere else in the world, we see the seeds growing around change. We see the seeds growing around people seeing and thinking differently. It's fun working in businesses and organizations where we primarily do our work, because organizations have a fence. They have a boundary around them. That boundary helps define them, and that boundary helps enable them. And it's a group of people that have some kind of things in common, some purpose in common. And so it's a container. And it's a container where ideas come in, and they enter, and they change, and they transform. And it's a place that needs ideas in order to exist, in order to move forward. And so in a workshop a year ago in India, we'll be doing another one later this year in Mumbai, a group of people came together to really talk about life and how they want to be and how they wanted life to be differently and how they wanted life to be different in their organization, whether it was a family business or a large organization, whether it was a startup that they were involved in. And one of the people out of that workshop started writing blogs for us, Sir Rob Badaji. And he started talking about his experience, and I just want to share a couple of comments from his blog. Usually at the workplace, we focus on being big ourselves, but don't consciously enable others to be big too. Well, I've consciously worked on how I can make those I work with be big. I feel I have made considerable progress in this area. Frankly, the workplace feels much more fun this way. Planting a seed, someone doing something with it, and changing themselves and others. He goes on to talk about, I come from a culture where it's considered a virtue to be conservative and consensus-oriented. Consequently, in the past, I've sometimes held myself back from being big at work. Over the last few months, I've tried to be humble in culture, in the cultural context. In the last few months, I've tried to be humble, but yet show up fully at work. Be humble and show up fully at work. This has included putting my point forward respectfully in culture, but strongly whenever I have held a differing point of view. Doing things differently, changing, planting a seed, that seed growing. And then he goes on to say some other things that he's been involved in. And then he says, last but not least, I have practiced go slow to go fast to build speed in interactions. I remember the speed, trust, and interaction model Judith and Fred talked about in the Be Big workshop. Speed in relationships is an outcome of trust. Trust in relationships is an outcome of interactions. I have been particular in ensuring regular and quality interactions between my stakeholders and me. Over the last few months, I have seen trust levels go up, and subsequently, speed of our interactions have picked up too. Doing it inside its culture, but doing some of the things that we know human beings need to do if we're going to change that world that we're talking about. This is not magic, but in some ways it is magic. And it's really the magic of planting a seed and seeing someone grow and seeing them grow their teams and grow their organizations. And that is what we do. So thank you.